So I've never been comfortable with drawing people, which might sound weird because a good 90% of my finished pieces have people in them. But what's great about art is that you can choose to draw whatever you want, so nothing's stopping you from making everyone in your drawing really far away or with their backs facing the viewer. I think by far the most difficult thing to draw when it comes to drawing people is a classic forward-facing portrait. And for me, there are two reasons for this. One, you've got to keep symmetry in mind. Obviously, human faces aren't literally symmetrical, but by and large, you've got some reflectional symmetry going on, you know. The left half of the nose kind of looks like the right half of the nose, etc., etc. And this is hard to draw for obvious reasons. The second issue, for me at least, is specifically with the eyes. I have to use like 9,000% of my neurological functioning to make it not look like the person's horrifically cross-eyed or looking in some other direction. I don't know why, but eye contact with the viewer has always been really, really hard for me. But luckily for me, the character I'm drawing right now doesn't have any visible pupils in the first place, which is great, so I don't have to worry about that. Her name is Paula, and she's one of the two main characters in my story, which I'm currently illustrating and publishing. It's kind of a modern fantasy mystery thing. I don't really know which category to put it under. It's kind of weird. It's got some suspense, but it will get a little dark and violent, so content warning if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff. But if you do want to check it out, you can read it for free on Wattpad and a couple other places. I'm going to put all the links in the description. I've done a lot of illustrations of my two main characters, but I realized recently I've never made a solid reference piece for either one of them that I could use to keep their physical features consistent, or just to have some kind of official art of what they look like. I was a little intimidated by the idea of drawing two close-up portraits for the aforementioned reasons, but I actually had a lot of fun making these. The portraits are a little more realistic than most of the art I've done of them before, so it kind of felt like I was bringing them to life in a way I haven't before. Paula is definitely the bossier of the two. She's pretty self-absorbed, and she feels like she knows better than everyone else all the time. And because she feels like everyone else knows less than she does, she's constantly stressed out and super high-strung about what everybody else around her is doing, and feels like she has to do whatever she can to get them back on track. Even though she's so convinced she knows best, she can be a little shallow. She's always concerned with her physical appearance, which is tough, especially considering their situation, if you've read any of the story. The narrative isn't told from Paula's perspective, so the reader hasn't seen much of her inner world, but there's clearly something that's really deeply bothering her, whether or not she knows what that is. So she's a little bit of a mystery so far. Ray, on the other hand, is just left picking up what few pieces Paula is setting down for him. The narrative is told from his perspective, and right now he does not understand her at all, even though he wants to, and he sees how upset she is. He wants to help her, but he doesn't really know how to. He's very relaxed, actually relaxed to a fault. He's so chill at his core that he can completely overlook basic precautions that he should be taking. He's also dangerously curious. He's always looking to explore and poke his nose into places that maybe he shouldn't. But his curiosity is also constantly at war with his chronic laziness. He loves to sleep, he loves to gorge on food, which is also kind of tough considering their circumstances. While Paula tries to be very clean, Ray likes to literally dig through trash. He's practical, he's crafty, and he's always trying to make things work out, even if they're not ideal. Back to the art side of things, I cannot tell you how difficult it is for me to draw males. I have to proactively remind myself when I'm drawing a guy how to make it look like a guy. And honestly, I'm still learning how to do this, but some things I try to keep in mind. Of course, this varies on a case-by-case basis, but some things I try to keep in mind that help make it look more like a dude are stronger jawline, more angular face in general, larger nose, thicker eyebrows, and not emphasizing the lips as much. Oh, also thicker necks. Thicker necks help. But yeah, I feel like I learned a lot with this portrait. Definitely out of my comfort zone, forward-facing portrait, and it's a dude, but now it doesn't seem as scary to do. And I have some nice official character art. Of course, my main character portraits would not be complete without drawing Hitchcock, who's this mysterious raven that for some reason won't stop following Ray. He's kind of mischievous and really annoys Paula for a little bit, but later on Ray gets the sense that he might be useful to keep around. I actually really enjoy drawing ravens because even though they're pretty solid colored, the darker color leaves a lot of room to have fun with reflections and little hints of different colors, so I had a lot of fun incorporating dark pink and blue and green and all these different things if you look closely. Anyway, this wraps up the little portrait series. I hope you enjoyed watching the process. Let me know which one's your favorite, and if you want to give a read to The Sun and the Raven, I'm leaving all the links in the description. Okay, bye!